Assalamu alaikum, grade 7. How are you? Faiza Nadeem here with your English lesson. And as usual, with everyone around me, we are hoping, wishing and praying that all of you are hale and hearty. Remain safe, remain happy and keep your academics as your priority. तो चलो आज का लेसन शुरू करते हैं. Let's discover what today's lesson is all about. What is the lecture about? Yes, it's the continuation of the previous lecture in which we did the comprehension revenge. It was the revenge of an elephant when their Takin Mickey killed her keeper, the person who used to take care of her Osin. ठीक है? और ये आपका यूनिट है यूनिट 1 और पेजेस हैं 2 से लेके 8 तक. प्रीवियस लेक्चर में हमने की तमाम वोकैबुलरी एक्सरसाइजेस और बनाए उनके सेंटेंसेस. इस लेक्चर में हम करेंगे तमाम सवाल जवाब. रीडिंग फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, रीडिंग फॉर कॉम्प्रीहेंशन एंड रीडिंग फॉर डिटेल एंड रीडिंग फॉर इन्फरेंस. ठीक है, तमाम सवाल हम करेंगे. लेकिन आंसर्स मैंने फ्रेज आउट नहीं किए. आंसर्स जो हैं उसके हेल्पिंग वर्ड्स और फ्रेजेस बोर्ड पे हैं, बनाने आपने खुद है. हाँ मैं ऑरली आपको सुना दूंगी सारे, लेकिन उनको कंप्लीट सेंटेंस आपने बनाना है. पढ़े हो गए हो, अब 7 में आ गए हो, यू कैन ऑल डू दैट. ठीक है, डोंट वरी, मैं आपको पूरा सेंटेंस कंस्ट्रक्ट करके सुनाऊंगी. सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन क्या है? सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन ये है कि व्हाट हैड द एलिफेंट राइडर्स डन आफ्टर द यंग मैन डाइड. आपने क्या करना होता है? आपने आंसर जो है वो क्वेश्चन के वर्ड्स से शुरू करना होता है. कैसे? द एलिफेंट राइडर्स फ्लेड फ्रॉम द कैंप विद देयर एलिफेंट्स आफ्टर द यंग मैन हैड डाइड. ठीक है, क्वेश्चन के वर्ड्स आंसर में लाजमी लिखने हैं. नेक्स्ट इज हाउ डिड शू डॉग द डेड मैन्स एलिफेंट बिन बिहेविंग. अब जो उसका ओसीन था, शू डॉग जो शी एलिफेंट थी, वो मर गया था. तो ओसीन वाज एक्टिंग वेरी वियर्डली. एलिफेंट्स जो होते हैं वो 8-9 साल के बच्चे की समझ रखते हैं और उसको समझ थी कि ये ठाकिन की वजह से उसका ओसीन मरा है. तो she was acting very strangely because she was filled with revenge. Revenge का क्या मतलब होता है? बदला लेना. ठीक है, तो she dog, the dead man's elephant, was restless. She was showing signs of being nervous. She was frequently flapping her ears and she was clawing the air with the tip of her tongue. ये उसकी tongue है, उससे हवा को यूं कर रही थी. Might be looking for the soul of the dead man, right? Question number 3. What did Seenook done to ensure that she-dog did not break free? Ab Seenook was basically a very experienced old man. He had been living with elephants for too long to fully understand what they have been going through. तो उसने पता है क्या किया? उसने ये किया कि Seenook tethered the elephant. Tethered मैंने अभी आपको पिछले लेक्चर में vocabulary meanings के साथ बताया था, tie करना. ठीक है, Seenook tethered the elephant to 2 immense and immovable trees, and then instead of tying it with fetters, light chains होती हैं जिनसे elephants को बांधते हैं जहाँ वो कैंप में काम कर रहे होते हैं. तो instead of tying she-dog with fetters, he had tied or shackled her with towing chains, the chains that are used to harness the logs, very strong, and to make double sure that she does not go off, he provided her with succulent, fresh, top branches of a tree. And this is how he had made sure that the elephant does not run away. Let's move on to question number 4. Question number 4. Question number 4 says, what were the first signs that a storm was approaching? अगेन आपने अपना आंसर ये फ्रेजेस नहीं लिखने, मैं आपको जो बोल के सुना रही हूँ ना बेटा और बिटिया, ठीक है, उसको आपने लिखना है, ठीक है। द साइंस दैट शोड that a storm was approaching were that the sky was completely starless in the beginning of the night and there was complete silence everywhere. आपको पता है ना कि तूफान से पहले की खामोशी कितनी फेमस है, तो it was silence everywhere and the sky was starless. It was completely covered with clouds. Question number 5. What was Seen Oak so sure that Shoe Oak had been freed by human hands? He was so sure because there were no chains dangling around Sheed Oaks. ठीक है, अगर उसने अपने आप को तोड़ाया होता, छुड़ाया होता, तो उसके तमाम के तमाम जो उसकी फीट हैं, ठीक है, front and back feet, there must be some chains with them. But there were no chains, so she was freed purposely. Explain exactly what happened between She-Oak moving towards the tie and Mickey talking, shooting at her. ये आपकी बुक में ना बेटा इटैलिक्स में दिया हुआ है, सिर्फ इसको हाईलाइट करने के लिए, राइट, कि ये बर्मीज वर्ड्स हैं. Tie was Mickey's house, right? So what actually happened? What happened was, after being freed from the chains, She-Oak lowered her head and came running fast towards Mickey's house. He saw with a bolt of lightning that She-Oak was approaching him. So he stepped out in his veranda with a gun in one hand and a lantern in the other one. He knew that She-Oak was not in any ordinary mood. She-Oak was an elephant that was trained in the art of demolition. She-Oak knew where to hit in order to break a pile. वो वहाँ पर जो काम करते थे ना बेटा, वहाँ पर piles of logs होते थे, और उन piles of logs में She-Oak को पता होता था कि मैं किस एंगल पे इसको हिट करूंगी तो ये सारे गिर जाएंगे और ये जो इतना जम्बल्ड अप, ये इतना प्रॉब्लम हो गई है, इसको सॉल्व कर लेंगे, ठीक है. तो शी न्यू वेयर टू हिट द tie and thus break Mickey's house, ठीक है. So what did tie do? He hit the She-Oak between her ears and eye. This is the most vulnerable spot of elephant, ठीक है. If the elephant is hit over here, instant death occurs, ठीक है. But the elephant was coming with such a momentum. The momentum of her speed was so much so that it hit the tie and broke the house down. The house came catapulted down. Catapult क्या होता है? टोप. जब टोप का गोला लगता है तो कैसी चीजें टूट फूट के बिगड़ जाती हैं. तो इसी तरह She-Oak का जो हेड था वो जाके उस घर को लगा और वो घर पूरा ब्रोक डाउन हो गया. And obviously when the house was broken down into pieces, Mickey's body lay over there, prone, exposed to all the mutilation that can happen to him. And what did the elephant do? The elephant, with the force or momentum, reached where the body of Mickey was and fell on the prone body with his head first. First, the head fell down on the body to make sure that he does not live, and then the body of She-Oak came circling down on the dead man. Ab explain exactly how She-Oak and Mickey Tacken died. I have given you the explanation in the previous question. Howsoever, I'll redo it for you. Tacken Mickey hit She-Oak on the place between her ear and her eye, right over here, ठीक है? And in the momentum, the dead elephant rushed towards the tie and catapulted Mickey's home. After the home had been catapulted, after the home had been brought down, the elephant made sure that it or she lay dead over Mickey in order to not to lose any chance that Mickey could live. right? So this was question number 7. Question number 8 says, what did the storyteller and Seenook see next to the huge footmark of Shodok? Seendok and the storyteller saw a small oblong shape of a foot. It was a human footprint. It was somebody who has actually freed the elephant from the chains. Question number 9. There was no question number 9 as far as reading for comprehension is concerned. Let's do reading for detail. Reading for detail क्या होती है? आपको थोड़ा सा डिटेल में अपनी comprehension से read between the lines करके आंसर्स बताने होते हैं. सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन आपका क्या है? सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन आपका ये है, what was the storyteller able to hear or not hear at the beginning of the story? आपकी स्टोरी शुरू होती है तब जब वो यंग मैन मर जाता है, ठीक है, और कैंप खाली हो जाता है. तो the storyteller says that he could not hear all the nocturnal sounds, the flapping of the owls, the croaking of the frogs. So he could not hear all the nocturnal or the sounds that can be heard at night. Nocturnal का क्या मतलब होता है? रात के, ठीक है. दिन को तो जंगल जागता है, रात को भी जंगल जागता है, ठीक है. कुछ जानवर दिन में शिकार करते हैं, कुछ रात को शिकार करते हैं. जो रात को जागते हैं, रात को शिकार करते हैं, वो कहते हैं नॉक्टर्नल एनिमल्स. सो ही कुड नॉट हियर द साउंड्स ऑफ ऑल द नॉक्टर्नल एनिमल्स. अगर आप अपना पैराग्राफ 1 पढ़ेंगे तो उसमें मेंशन्ड है कि वो फ्लैपिंग ऑफ द आउल्स विंग्स, ठीक है, एंड croaking of the frogs and multiple things that can be heard at night. He did not hear all those. Along with that, he did not hear the tinkling of the elephant's bell and the sounds and the hustle bustle of people moving around in the camp. He could not hear those. Along with that, he could not hear the sound of the bubbling elephant. He could not hear the feeling inside somebody's body who wanted to free She-Dog in order to take her revenge. He could not hear the approaching storm, both physically and metaphorically. She-Dog के अंदर भी तो एक storm breakout कर रहा था ना, और उस शख्स के अंदर भी जिसने She-Dog को फ्री किया था, लूज किया था, मे बी वो उस यंग मैन के पेरेंट्स हो, ठीक है. तो वो जो स्टॉर्म ब्रेक हो रहा था वहां पर फिजिकल और मेटाफोरिकली, वो भी नहीं सुन सकता था, ठीक है. What were the towing chains usually used for? The towing chains were usually used for harnessing the logs or to bind them up. Which phrases in paragraph 3 suggest that Seenook is not telling the storyteller everything that he has in his mind? The phrases like sidelong glance, slippery voice, and in a husky voice he said just a precaution. All these phrases tells that Seenook was not telling the storyteller everything that he knows. Which clauses in the paragraph 5 and 6 suggest that the elephant was very heavy? एक क्लॉज पैराग्राफ 5 में है जो ये कह रहा है द हट वॉज शिवरिंग टू द एलिफेंट्स ट्रेड. ट्रेड क्या है? उसकी मूव, उसकी रन. तो इतनी तेज वो दौड़ रहा था कि जमीन भी शिवर करने लग गई, और जिस जमीन के ऊपर वो हट था वो भी शिवर करने लग गया, ट्रेमल करने लग गया. दूसरा पैराग्राफ 6 से है द ट्रेमर ऑफ द एलिफेंट्स अप्रोचिंग वेट. ट्रेमर्स क्या होते हैं? अर्थक्वेक, ठीक है. और जब एलिफेंट भागता दौड़ता आ रहा था तो पूरी जमीन के ऊपर ट्रेमर हो गया था, अर्थक्वेक हो गया था. Why did McCain aimed at She-Dog between her ear and the eye? McCain aimed at She-Dog between her ear and eye because that is the most vulnerable spot of the elephants. It's the spot where instant death occurs if you have hit an elephant on that specific spot, right? Question number 5. Let's move on to the last question for reading for detail. Question number 6. Question number 6 asks you to describe which words and phrases in paragraph 8 describe movements. Explain the kind of movement each conveys. अब words and phrases movement के कौन से हैं और आपने वो describe करने हैं कि वो क्या बता रहे हैं. अब ये words and phrases पैराग्राफ 8 में नहीं है, पैराग्राफ 7 में है, लेकिन चूंकि आपकी बुक में 8 लिखा था इसलिए मैंने 8 लिख दिया है. अब वो वर्ड्स क्या है, सबसे पहले तो स्टैंड स्टिल. स्टैंड स्टिल का मतलब होता है स्टेशनरी, और ये स्टेशनरी होता है ए से, ठीक है, नॉट मूविंग, स्टेशनरी. नेक्स्ट आता है चार्ज. चार्ज का मतलब होता है रन फास्ट. फिर मोमेंटम ऑफ द चार्ज विद द फोर्स, द स्पीड with which the elephant was running was very, very extremely fast. Explode, burst out. Catapulted, brought down. Catapult कहते हैं तोप को. पुराने ज़माने में आपने देखा होगा, हमारे लाहौर म्यूज़ियम के बाहर भी एक गोला डालते हैं और उसको तोप करते हैं, लेकिन वो बिल्कुल ब्रॉट डाउन हो गया था. Turned, move around. Crash, go crashing down, fall down very harshly, very strongly. Rolling over in circular movements, falling down slowly. The elephant fell down very slowly, threw down, jumped down, and fell means fall. These were all the questions from reading for detail. Let's move on to reading for inference. Inference का क्या मतलब होता है? Inference का मतलब होता है समझना. ठीक है, आपको ये कॉम्प्रीहेंशन कितना समझ आया है, इसलिए मैंने इसके हेल्पिंग वर्ड्स नहीं लिखे. आंसर्स दूंगी आपको वर्बली, लेकिन मैंने हेल्पिंग वर्ड्स और फ्रेजेस नहीं लिखे, क्योंकि मैं चाहती हूँ सुन लो आंसर, लेकिन पढ़ के ध्यान दे के समझ के आंसर्स लिखो. राइट. सबसे पहला है कि व्हाई डू यू थिंक द एलिफेंट हैंडलर्स fled immediately after the young man died? I have not written the first question complete because it's present in your book. Okay, you can refer to that one. The elephant handlers fled because they all knew that she-dog would be filled with revenge. The elephant's handler had died, and she-dog must have taken that to her heart, and her heart must be full of revenge. That's why they ran away from there. Why was she-dog clawing the air with the tip of her tongue? अब she-dog was in nervousness clawing the air with the tip of her trunk. Trunk क्या होती है उसकी? Obviously सूंड. ठीक है, तो वो क्यों कर रही थी? Maybe she was looking for her lost handler. Maybe she was so confused, so nervous that she was opting for the handler to come and caress her trunk. Maybe elephants or animals can see ghosts or souls. Maybe the soul of the dead young man was nearby. So there can be multiple options for this answer. When the Seen-oog answered just a precaution in paragraph 3, what do you think he was thinking at that moment? He was not thinking. He was anticipating something terrible to happen. That's why he had tied she-dog with such strong chains. He knew the elephant is going to react. He knew the elephant is going to behave in a very mysterious way. He had not any clue of how the elephant could react to what the problem was. So he secured the elephant with every possible means, and then he was even then unsure that whether it is right or it is good enough to keep the elephant bound. It was just a precaution. When the storyteller says tiny fragile sound in paragraph 5, what was the sound and what is its significance? When he hears a tiny fragile sound, that was the sound of someone approaching and freeing the elephant. The significance is that the elephant was freed to do whatever had been bubbling, bursting his mind, whatever was brothing in his mind. So he was free to do that. That is the significance of that tiny fragile sound. Question number 5. In paragraph 7, why do you think the elephant stopped and lowered her head? Yaar, wo elephants were trained to dislodge the logs, and they were trained to break away the jumbled up, piled up logs with the use of their heads. And the elephant in his mind knew that she is going to break down Tuckin McKay's tie, and so she lowered her head in order to go and hit McKay's house in such a manner that nothing is left. Question number 6. When the Seen-oog saw the footprints, he cried out in a husky voice. Why did he do so? He was so overwhelmed of somebody helping She-Dog out in taking her revenge. He had no clue who that specific person was, but that specific person had basically helped the elephant out in taking the revenge. So that specific person has caused the death of their king, who was a Britisher. They don't know what might come next. They don't know how they are going to be treated after that. But then that was something that had happened, and it was something seriously terrible that had happened over there in that specific camp. Let's quickly recapitulate today's lesson. What did we do? We did Unit 1, Elephants in general and Revenge in specific. We did all the question answers that were related to the comprehension revenge. Reading for understanding, reading for detail, and reading for inference. I've written the helping words and phrases on the board, and I expect you to write the complete sentence with correct grammar. मैंने आपको सब सुनाया है, ठीक है? थोड़ा थोड़ा मुझे रोक के सुन के कॉपी डाउन कर लोगे तो भी हो जाएगा, फिक्र नहीं करो. पढ़ते रहो, अच्छे बच्चों की तरह रहो, हंसते खेलते रहो, सेफ रहो, और अगर दुआ मांगो तो मुझे दुआओं में ज़रूर याद रखना. अल्लाह हाफ़िज़.